Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources. Updating daily at 6 a.m. New York.
Washington Post World.
January 3, 5:21 America, New York. German doctor jailed for illegally issuing mask exemptions. A German doctor has been sentenced to 2 years and 9 months in prison for illegally issuing more than 4,000 people with exemptions from wearing masks during the coronavirus pandemic.
Time.
January 3, 5:15 America, New York. Japan's royal family emerges for in-person New Year's address after pandemic hiatus. Japan's Emperor Naruhito delivered on Monday a New Year's message to the public at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. It was the first time the annual tradition was held in person since 2020, after the event was put on hold during the pandemic.
Time.
January 3, 5 o'clock America, New York. The top 10 global risks of 2023. Threats to the future of democracy look overrated these days, given the glaring leadership weaknesses now evident in Russia, China, and Iran. Add relief that the U.S.
New York Times World News.
January 3, 3:30 America, New York. Hardline Israeli minister visits volatile Jerusalem holy site. Itamar Ben-Gvir, the ultra-nationalist national security minister, toured the site just days after taking office, drawing a furious reaction from Palestinian leaders. Visitors walking next to the Dome of the Rock in the compound known to Muslims as the Noble Sanctuary and to Jews as the Temple Mount, in Jerusalem's Old City, on Tuesday.
BBC News World.
January 3, 3:18 America, New York, Jerusalem. Far-right Israeli minister visits Flashpoint site. Palestinians say Itamar Ben-Gvir's walk on the holy site in Jerusalem is a unprecedented provocation.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
January 3, 3:05 America, New York. Controversial far-right Israeli minister accused of deliberate provocation after mosque visit. The controversial far-right Israeli politician Itamar Ben-Gvir has visited Al-Aqsa compound in Jerusalem on Tuesday, in a move that could dramatically inflame tensions in the region. Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem.
Washington Post World.
January 3, 2:19 America, New York. Recalling Benedict's grace but also the storms of his papacy. Longtime Associated Press Vatican correspondent Victor L.
Mirror World News.
January 3, 2:13 America, New York. Daughter of Brit couple killed in SeaWorld helicopter crash says, "Our family is heartbroken." Brit couple Ron and Diane Hughes, 65 and 57, have been named among 4 killed after a mid-air helicopter crash near SeaWorld in Australia.
BBC News World.
January 3, 1:44 America, New York. Delhi hit and run case. Young woman's horrific death shocks India. Reports say the woman was dragged for miles after her scooter collided with a car.
RT World News.
January 3, 1:26 America, New York. U.S. Capitol Police hype up threat of unthinkable. The law enforcement agency said more than 100 security improvements at the U.S. Capitol may not be enough to prevent future unrest.
Time.
January 3, 0:31 America, New York. Money to move. Families offered millions in yen to relocate from Tokyo to rural areas. Japan plans to boost financial support to households to move away from the capital to combat depopulation in other areas of the country, according to multiple local media reports.
New York Times World News.
January 3, 0:22 America, New York, your Tuesday briefing. A major strike on Russian troops. Residents after collecting humanitarian aid in Bakhmut, Ukraine, on Monday.
World News. Breaking international news and headlines, Sky News.
January 3, 0:04 America, New York. Politicians jailed after assaulting pregnant colleague in Senegalese parliament brawl. 2 Senegalese politicians have been sentenced to 6 months in jail after assaulting a pregnant colleague during a parliamentary brawl. International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde, C., speaks at the National Assembly in Dakar January 30, 2015.
BBC News World.
January 3, 0:02 America, New York. Jeremy Renner. Avengers actor out of surgery but still in critical condition. The actor suffered blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries in a snowplow accident at his home.
New York Times World News.
January 3, 001 America New York, in Romania, U.S. troops train close to Russia's war, in signal to Moscow. The deployment to a NATO country near the conflict in Ukraine is seen as a model of deterrence for a U.S. military that has recently stepped back from direct fighting. American military personnel in February at Mihail Kogălniceanu Air Base in Romania.
RT World News. January 2, 2348 America New York. Bolton berates NATO allies. The former U.S. National Security Advisor suggested expelling Turkey from NATO unless it severs ties with Russia. Mirror World News.
January 2, 2331 America New York. U.S. denies plans for nuclear training with South Korea amid threat from North. U.S. President Joe Biden gave a blunt no after being questioned if the country was planning to hold nuclear exercises with South Korea as reportedly suggested by its leader Yoon Suk-yeol.
The Washington Times Stories. Advocacy.
January 2, 2239 America New York. Damar Hamlin toy drive surges as nation rallies around injured Bills safety. As a shocked nation saw Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin battling for his life after a Monday night football game, it rallied around his charitable organization.